Good evening, everybody. I'm General George Washington. I'm here visiting with my friend Mark. He invited me down to speak to you for a couple minutes, and I'm on my way from Newport, Rhode Island to Philadelphia. And I just wanted to lay some groundwork as to some of the background of my role as Commander in Chief of the Continental Army and how we got to where we are. Um, some of the stuff that people don't know is I was often intimidated by other generals, basically because of their education level. I had primary school and that was it. But it was because of these other generals with their good education and backgrounds that I was successful, because one of the keys to being a leader of whether it's a company or troops. I had a mishmash of men. I had militia, I had Continental Army, I had private little armies, and we all tried to mesh them together. Is I surrounded myself with excellent generals, and Nat Green, Henry Knox, Colonel Warren, all of these men were excellent leaders. And because of them, I became an excellent leader. They often pointed me in the right direction. I had a wonderful wife, Martha. Um, she allowed me to be a general. She allowed me to be what I was, and that was a general in an army, which is what I always wanted to be. I wanted to be a leader of an army from a young age, from early age when I fought for the Virginia militia, and then the Virginia, and then the British Army, and then eventually resigning there and joining as the Continental Army Commander in Chief. Martha would come visit me, but she would put up with the 6 months of not knowing, and me being the heroic guy that I like to be and the leader being out front. She always thought that I would never make it through the war, and she backed me every day, 24 hours a day. I had great I had great staff, Alexander Hamilton, just a number of Culpeper. All these people were very good listeners, and they could guide me. I frequently second guessed myself, and made errors that cost lives, and it was very hard for me to accept that my decisions would cost men their lives. But it was these men, these very same men, that I was leading to possible death or injury, that inspired me. And to this day, I was inspired by these men. And I know Mark has talked about them frequently. These men, when you ask them to do something, regardless of how hard it was or what it entailed, they did it. Henry Knox took cannons 300 miles, impossible, through the winter in the Berkshires. I asked men to march from Pennsylvania to Trenton, New Jersey, barefooted, ragged footed, go without eating, go without sleep, and to defeat a professional German army. I asked these men to do battle in New Jersey in 100-degree weather. They never let me down. They were the inspiration that I had for being successful. The friendships that I developed across the years with these various generals, these various people, von Steuben, Lafayette, all of these men were instrumental in the success of the Revolutionary War, and these were good men that helped guide me through my leadership, and they respected me. I respected them. And so it was not only George Washington that made the war for independence successful for the American colonies. It was on the minds and the backs of all of these men and all of these women that were involved. They all played a significant part in our winning the war and the gaining our independence from Great Britain. So, as in life, on the farm at Mount Vernon, which was the only thing I ever really wanted to do. I really wanted to be a good farmer, a successful farmer, and I so enjoyed my years at Mount Vernon, working the farm, and so that was very relaxing for me in that time frame between general and presidency, and my presidency was pretty much the same, but we won't talk about that tonight. So I just want you to remember that although you hear my name and my name is on Washington D.C. and the Washington Monument and several other places, the state of Washington, that it was not only Washington, it was Washington and his generals. It was Washington and his soldiers. It was Martha Washington. It was Abigail Adams. All of these wonderful people that came together to achieve this end goal of independence. So kindly remember that. And so I'm going to Philadelphia. I'll be back in a little bit. I want to talk to you about some of our losses, some of our battles that we lost. And we lost pretty much because I made bad decisions. And then we'll talk about the siege of Yorktown and the end of the war. So hope to see you again. Take care, and Mark will be back tomorrow. Thanks.